Disclaimer: there are watermarks in this video because I'm on a shoestring budget and couldn't bother spending $100 on one single video. Yo bro, do you wanna try some of this? They are bomb, dude. Trust me. I don't know, man. My parents always told me not to try drugs. Bro, stop being such a softie, man. I swear you won't regret it. Everyone's doing it anyways. Even that weird guy Gork who smokes weed. Alright. I guess I could try one. This is called peer pressure. Peer pressure is a feeling that one must do the same things as other people of one's age and social group in order to be liked or respected. This may cause you to overdrink, try out drugs for the first time and get addicted, or get into unnecessary fights just because your friends are fighting too. For 16-year-old Richard, however, peer pressure caused him to possibly serve life in prison. How did this happen, you may ask? Well, it all happened on November 4th, 2013. Richard was heading home on the bus after school like any other day, but on this day, he unexpectedly reunited with his hood friends after quite a while. They were all chatting and joking around until they saw Sasha at the end of the bus. "What the heck is that dude wearing?" one blurted. They were wearing a baseball cap, knee-high socks, and a skirt. They had a book in one hand and had dozed off to sleep. You might be wondering, why are you calling this Sasha guy they? Well, it's because Sasha is a gender. Someone who's a gender doesn't identify themselves as having a particular gender. Instead of usual pronouns like he or she, they like to be called them, their, and they. You might wonder, which bathroom did they go to? Well, they just go to the closest one. Now, let's talk about Richard. Richard is an African American boy who grew up in a poor neighborhood surrounded by drugs and violence. He loves to joke around and is always upbeat. He struggles in school, however. Anyways, back to the story. When the group of friends saw Sasha at the end of the bus, one of them pulled out a lighter and handed it to Richard. "Do it," he said, looking at Sasha. Richard thought it would be a harmless prank and flicked the lighter on Sasha's skirt and escaped out the bus. But when he looked back, Sasha's skirt had erupted in a sheet of flame. Richard, clearly panicking, walked away trying to look as natural as possible. Richard was arrested the next day, seen here. Because Richard's offense was so violent, he was not tried as a juvenile, but as an adult, and he could be spending the rest of his life in prison. But he's still a juvenile. Doesn't he deserve a second chance in life? When people say children are different from adults, what do they mean? Is a 16-year-old really a child? By that age, surely any rational person knows not to go around setting people's clothing on fire. Well, that anyway was the argument made by many online commenters. It's true that in terms of pure intellect, teenagers are just as smart as adults, just as able to reason, and just as knowledgeable about the consequences of risky behavior. But they are also wired differently. Many people have observed that adolescents tend to be more reckless, impulsive, and vulnerable to peer pressure than adults. This behavior can be explained in the structure of the teenage brain. The limbic system is a part of the brain that detects things in the environment that we should pay attention to and sends an emotional signal about what to do in response. Starting around puberty, the limbic system becomes more sensitive to stimulus, which is one reason teenagers become both more emotional and more interested in having new and intense experiences. To put it simply, peer pressure causes teenagers to make decisions emotionally, using the limbic system rather than the prefrontal cortex, where the brain can predict the consequences. Rome wasn't built in a day, and it surprisingly took me many hours to create. Slowly but surely, I made progress and barely finished. I advise future students to prepare sooner.